All right, in this video, as you can see, we're going to be talking about and digging deeper into human factors and physiology. So let's dig in. Here we go. Hazardous attitudes, which we're going to talk about those next. We're going to tell you exactly what they are, but now we're going to tell you what they do, what they cause. So having people on your crew with the wrong attitudes can cause you to fall behind in the progress of the aircraft and the situation. So this would cause you to be just a little bit less situationally aware. It can cause you to fall behind in that progress, so you're not really following along with the speed of what you're trying to get done, and that can be crucial. So things like batteries and all that kind of stuff. So we're looking at this next line: operating without adequate fuel and battery reserves, not knowing what you would do if an emergency happened, and those types of things. All of that can happen. You can lose sight of your aircraft. You can not understand where you are positionally. You can lose entire situationally awareness of what's going on. It can cause you to operate outside the unmanned aircraft flight envelope. So it can basically cause you to be flying with undue hazards, which we already know is against the rules. And then it can also cause you to not do a full pre-flight. And that would include maybe rushing because you think it's going to be all right. You knew what the weather was yesterday. It's not important to do it again. It's not necessarily important to check your aircraft. You just checked it the last time you put it away. Now you're opening up the box again, and it should still be all good. Not necessarily the case. You should always do a pre-flight. This is a huge thing that contributes to regular aircraft crashes, is pilots that don't do the proper pre-flight. It's not always, in fact, in a lot of cases, it's not the aircraft itself that causes the problem. If the aircraft had been properly pre-flighted, then a pilot may have been aware, or at least made aware that there's possibly going to be a problem with this aircraft. It's not a good idea to fly it. So all these things are caused by these hazardous attitudes, and we keep talking about them. Let's actually take a look at what they are. There's 5 of them, and there's anti-authority, impulsivity, invulnerability, machoism, and resignation. So we're going to look at anti-authority first, and I found these cute little pictures just to maybe get a laugh, or at least give you something to hopefully try to remember this stuff by. And it says, Peter Kropotkin, and he says, "Where there is authority, there is no freedom," which we should know is not the truth. This is for conspiracy theorists and people that think that all we're trying to do ever when we make rules is keep people from being free. And that couldn't be further from the truth with the FAA. And people say, well, they're a federal government agency and that's what they do. But I've been a pilot since 1985. And as a drone pilot, I've been more involved with the FAA directly than I ever was as a manned pilot. And I've gotten to know a lot of these folks. I got so involved with the FAA that I even volunteer my time for the FAST team, which is the FAA's safety team. And I became a drone pro, and I kind of go out and help educate people like we're doing here on the rules and the laws and the things that you can and cannot do with a drone and that kind of stuff. Best practices, things that aren't even really the laws, but will help keep us from having further regulation. And the FAA is all about it. They really would like to have less regulation. They really would like to have less things to have to go investigate. They would like drone pilots to just follow the rules that they're giving and Trust me, when the rules first came out, when 107 first came on the scene in 2016, there was a lot of crazy rules. It was very restrictive. And over the years, they have become less and less restrictive. And there's good people working in the FAA trying to work towards us having even less. Again, they're stressed. They have few people working trying to cover a lot of stuff. So if they can just get the drone community to be policing itself and taking care of itself and doing the right things, following the rules, then they could see that, hey, we're ready to move to the next step and have less encumberment upon us. So when there is a rule, just know that the rule is for the best. They're trying to keep us protected. They're trying to keep people on the ground protected, people that aren't even involved in what you're doing with a drone. But they could be affected if your drone falls out of the sky and hits them in the head. So the antidote for the hazardous attitude of anti-authority is to just know that the rules are put in place for a reason and they are working towards helping us to have less of them. So if we go out there and cause more problems, we're not following the rules and we end up crashing drones and stuff because of it, or violating people's privacy and causing calls to the legislators, we're going to end up with more regulation. So just follow the rules. It's that simple. Next, we want to cover impulsivity. And I've got this now checked off instead of later. A lot of times we're out to do a job. We want to make some money. We're not so concerned, there's a storm coming up or whatever, or this aircraft is kind of being tricky today, but you know what? I'm going to fly it anyway. Again, if we do those types of things, we can cause more problems. You can cause injury and all that, but you can also cause us to have more regulation brought upon the drone industry because you're out there flying and you create the accident that really brings something to light, makes the evening news or something like that. Next thing you know, we, as a general group of people, we drone pilots are causing more problems for each other, more legislation. Don't run out there and feel like you've got a boss maybe that's telling you, I need you to go do this now. No, you tell them, look, that's my license on the line. I am not going to fly this until I've done a proper pre-flight inspection. I need to check the weather. I've got to check to see if there's people in the way, all that kind of stuff. So it's best to wait. The antidote could be for this that, there's nothing worth the possibility of killing somebody, having a drone fall on their head, those types of things, having more regulation, having someone injured, all these different things. It's not worth it. Just take the extra couple of minutes it will take to go through the motions of what you need to do to ensure a safe flight. Don't be caught up in doing it now. Don't be that little girl on the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where she's saying, but I want it now. Don't be her. Instead, be safe. And I can tell you, I've been out doing real estate jobs, and I've had a real estate agent tell me, look, I drove out here today. You need to do this. If you don't do it today, I'm going to find somebody else. You have to be strong enough to look them in the eye and say, you know what? Find somebody else then. I'm either going to fly this safely and correctly, or it's not going to get done by my company. Invulnerability is next up. Look at this Superman. He is definitely invulnerable. He nothing can get him. But unfortunately, we as pilots with aircraft, we make mistakes. We sometimes don't think through things the way we should. Sometimes the aircraft is fallible and will fall apart or not do what it's supposed to do. But when you think you're invulnerable, you're thinking, it'll never happen to me. It's all good. I can go without doing a pre-flight. I can manage this because it happens to other people, not me. The antidote to that is just simply, yes, it can happen to you, and chances are it will, especially if you have luck like I do. You're not invulnerable. Maybe there's odds that say it probably won't happen, but the only way you can be absolutely sure is to be doing things the way you're supposed to be doing them. Slow down. This kind of can work with impulsivity as well. So you could be crisscrossing two of them, where you got to get it done now, and you just don't think it's ever going to happen to you. The way you cure this impulsivity again is just to know that you're not Superman, and it can happen to you. Machoism is to show off. Maybe you got a friend or a significant other that you're showing off for, or maybe you've shown up on the job site and there's a competing company that is flying their drone nearby where you're at, and you're wanting to best them. I've got a guy here from the movie, and he says, "I bow to no man." Well, that's great and all. You're out there being a show off, the big guy, the macho guy. It's not worth it. Again, that would be your antidote. Would be just to say, it's not worth it to show off. If you're saying, "Hey, hold my beer, watch this trick," then you're doing too much. You need to just get the job done. Another good thing to do to antidote this, although it's not on the test, is just to simply have a plan, have a goal. Go out there and meet your goals, meet your plan, accomplish the mission, get that done, and make your money, and then walk on. Don't get caught up in the macho thing. And then the last one here is resignation. This is just giving up. Don't ever give up. The antidote for this is you can be a factor. You don't throw your hands up and say there's nothing more I can do. There's always something you can do. Until that aircraft is down on the ground, either wrecked or properly set down on the ground, one way or the other, it's your responsibility the whole time it's flying. You can't just give up just because something quit working right or it looks like everything's falling apart. You want to keep doing the best you can. I had a situation where I lost a link. I kept unplugging and replugging the devices. I rebooted and, turned on and off all the software and just everything. The control station, everything. I manipulated the antennas to make sure that, that I was getting a good signal, just everything I could do. And eventually, I did regain control of the aircraft. But had I just thrown my hands up, the aircraft would have probably been on the ground somewhere. It would have wrecked. So, just things to think of there. Don't give up. Captain Sully, let's go back and talk about him for a moment. He's got to make some decisions. He gets birds into both engines on his aircraft. Both engines totally flamed out. He doesn't have time. He's at a low altitude. He doesn't have a lot of time to think about anything. He doesn't give up. He could have easily thrown up his hands and said, "You know what? This is beyond my ability to think. This is way more stressful than anything I've ever dealt with, and I'm out." And where would that have left the 100 and some odd passengers he had on board the aircraft? All those lives could have been easily lost. He did not give up. He tried to think through every possible scenario. He did everything he could within his power. Again, watch the movie. It'll really open your eyes about all these things in flying. And so resignation, again, is giving up. Don't give up. That's the thing. People usually give up because they think they can no longer be effective. You can. Don't give up. That is your antidote, is to say, yes, I can be effective. I can be part of this operation, so I will. We're going to have a part 2 to this, so stay tuned. And there'll be more information on physiology and the human factor.